Hello viewers, welcome to our YouTube channel Let's Learn If You Can. Today I am discussing one of the important topic in business taxation subject, that is customs duty. Here you can see when it comes to the introduction part of customs duty, two words has been replicated here. One is customs, another one is duty. See, we used to say in our general life, we will follow our own customs, old traditions, we are having own beliefs. Okay. In that context, what do you mean by customs in the sense, whatever the things we used to follow since from the ancient days. Okay, when it comes to duty, the amount of money or the tax which is levied based on ancient practices. In together we will calling it as, what do you mean by customs duty in the sense, as it is an ancient practice to levy or to collect the taxes from those who are importing goods to our country and who are exporting goods from our country. In overall we can say custom duty is a tax which is collected based on import of goods and even services from other countries and export of goods from our country to another country. When we just have a look on the introduction part of this custom duty, in olden days when the kings were ruling the kingdom, if anyone is selling goods to other kingdom, king used to give gifts to the person who has sold the goods. When it comes to Kautilya's Arthashastra, since from the ancient practice, they used to collect the tax based on import and exports. Here, the tax which has been collected based on import and export, or which has been specified in Kautilya's Arthashastra, has been referred as Shulka. Likewise, as of now also, our Indian government is collecting taxes based on importing of goods and even procurement of services from other country and exporting of goods to other country. That we will terming it as custom duty. Okay. Here, as likewise, the gifts has been collected by the central government of India in the form of custom duty from the importer who is importing the goods from other countries outside India and who is exporting the goods to other countries outside the India. In simple sense, we can say it is a tax or the duty which has been collected by government of India based on importing of goods and procurement of services from other countries and exporting of goods and providing of services to other countries. When it comes to constitutional provisions, which has been laid down as according to our constitution. See, here on our constitution, we have three lists. One is union list, state list, concurrent list. Union list, these subjects will be completely under the control of central government. State list, these are under the control of state governments. Concurrent list, both central and the state government, they are having the power to frame up the policies and make rules and regulations relating to this subject. This custom duty will comes under union list under 83rd subject. Okay. And for making rules and regulations relating to this, they have enacted one act in the parliament by name called Customs Act in the year 1962. As according to this, central government will have the power to make rules under section 156 of this Custom Act 1962. Okay. And now, as according to section 157, the Custom Act of 1962, before the introduction of this GST, they used to have work under one board, that is Central Board of Excise and Customs. As now excise is not there, as it is subsumed under GST, it has been renamed as Central Board of Indirect Tax and Customs to make of the rules, regulations and to follow certain procedures relating to this indirect taxes as well as regulating of this exports and imports in our country. What are the objectives of Customs Act 1962 in the sense? See, this act will regulate both imports and exports. We know what do you mean by import. That is buying of goods and procurement of services from other countries. And what exactly mean by exports? What do you mean by this in the sense? Goods has been sold to other countries or services has been provided to other countries. These two will be termed as imports and exports. This will be regulated as according to Custom Act 1962. Okay. Next objective of this Custom Act is to protect Indian industry from dumping. Very important thing. What exactly mean by dumping in the sense charging high prices in the domestic level and charging low prices in the international level to attract more and more customers. For this, China is a better example. See, whatever the articles or the goods which has been manufactured in China, there they will charge high prices. When they are exporting these goods to other countries, they will charge high prices. Okay. If they are dumping the goods to other countries, definitely domestic industries will suffer a lot. Okay. To save them and to provide safety to those kind of domestic industries, this act has been included in our constitution as a it has been enacted by our parliament. Okay. Next, to collect revenue from custom duty, that is whenever you are importing goods from other country, whenever you are exporting goods to other country, they will collect the taxes. Okay, it is also a source of revenue to the central government. That is also one objective of Custom Act. Next, to prevent smuggling of illegal goods. See, that is there where there is no accountability at all. That means it will not be recorded in our country's imports and also exports. Okay, these kind of activities will be reduced with the help of this Custom Act, and it lays down the procedure for exports and imports. See, for exports and also imports, we have separate segregation, we have separate rules and regulations, we have separate procedure. How we just need to export goods to other countries, how we just need to import goods from other countries. Everything will be mechanized with the help of this Custom Act. Next, it prohibits and restricts certain goods, that is, which is having national importance, and if any kind of goods which are creating damages for the domestic businesses, definitely those kind of goods will be restricted in importing and also exporting. Okay. Next, to impose fines, penalties and punishments for offence. If any mistakes has been happened, for that this Custom Act will lay down certain provisions relating to how fines has to be imposed and penalties and punishments has to be given for the person who has did the mistake. These are all objectives of Custom Act 1962. When it comes to features of custom duty, see here, what exactly mean by custom duty in the sense, it is levied as per the specified rates which has been specified in Custom Tariff Act 1975. So 1975. Okay. Here you can see this acts which has to be collected based on import and exports will be fixed by Custom Tariff Act. Custom duty will be levied and even collected based on this act only. That is one of the future of this custom duty. Custom duty levied on import and export of goods and services. That's what I have said. It will be levied on both import and exports. In most of the cases, exports are exempted from taxes. Otherwise, we will calling it as zero rated, because as India is a country which is having trade deficit. That means imports are more than the exports. To encourage the exports, they are making this kind of arrangements. Exports here refers to what? Taking the goods to a place outside India. Okay, that means we will move the goods from our country, India, to other country. Import will bring the goods from outside India to our country. That we will calling it as imports. When it comes to the goods, what and all these goods will include in the sense vessels, aircrafts, which we will use in the army and all other such areas, vehicles, whether it may be used for many purposes, stores relating to goods, baggage, that is personal belongings, okay, which we will get from foreign trips and all other things, currency, even currency is also relating to this, and even negotiable instruments like bill of exchange, promissory note, checks and all other things will comes under this goods only, and specific definition has been given for the goods that we will just discuss in the later part. Next, where and all this custom duty will applicable? See, here this custom act will applicable for all of India, and it includes territorial waters of India. Okay, territorial waters of India. Here you can see it also further extended to, that means including even Indian territorial water. We used to know, we will come to know what do you exactly mean by this Indian territorial water in the further definitions. I'm not getting into now regarding that. Next, you can see here we have two things: Custom Act 1962 and Custom Tariff Act 1975. See, 1962 it lays down the provisions. Custom Tariff Act 1975 will fix us the custom rates. Okay, or the duties which has to be charged. It will be extended to the notified designated areas in the continental shelf of India. Very important thing, continental shelf of India and exclusive economic zone of India. See, we all know whole of exclusive economic zone of India and continental shelf of India for the purpose of processing of extraction or production of minerals, oils, and supply of any goods in connection thereto. That means we know what do you mean by economic activity. Okay, everything we will mean for money. If any activity which has been done for earning money, those will comes under this economic, that is exclusive economic zone of India. I will just discuss about this in the later part. When it comes to the important meaning or definition, first one we have adjudicating authority. Section 2 subsection 1 of this Custom Act of 1962 will defines adjudicating authority. Here what do you mean by this? In the sense, any authority which is having an authority or the right to make up the decisions or to pass up certain orders, but it doesn't include two major things. One is Central Board of Indirect Tax and Customs, on the other hand Commissioner of Customs. Other than this, if anybody who is passing the order, who is making any rule, okay, for them we are calling it as adjudicating authority. Next, assessment. See, in GST and all other subjects we have discussed regarding what do you mean by assessment. Even income tax also we used to have, we are familiar with this concept. What exactly mean by assessment? In the sense, it is a process of finding out tax liability as according to one act. Here, as we are dealing with Custom Act 1962, as according to this act only, we will assess, we will find out the tax liability. Okay, for that only we will specify, that means we will know, or we will be having idea under this act only. We just need to assess the tax. Income tax will be assessed as according to Income Tax Act of 1961. Customs duty will be assessed as according to Custom Tariff Act 1975 and Custom Act of 1962. Okay, here we have different types of assessment. I am not getting into in detail regarding that. When it comes to self-assessment, individually by himself, they will assess the tax liability. Reassessment, if the person who is getting the details of self-assessment, if the authoritative person, if he is not satisfied, again he will reassess the tax liability. Okay, provisional assessment based on requirement of particular law. Okay, under one specified person who is an outsider will assess the tax liability. Next, very important one, here we just need to understand the definition of Indian territorial water. See, this Custom Act will applicable in entire India along with Indian territorial water, including exclusive economic zones, okay, of India. What do you mean by this Indian territorial water? In the sense, it is 12 nautical miles from the sea level. Okay, sea level, which we will call it as a baseline. Okay, what exactly mean by this? In the sense, see, 1 nautical mile will be equal to 1.852 kilometers. So 12 nautical miles will be equal to 22 kilometers. Okay. From the baseline up to 12 nautical miles, we will call it as Indian territorial waters. When it comes to exclusive economic zones, that is where business kind of activities will be done, in the sense even that also we will be considering here, but it will be behind Indian territorial water. It will be extending up to 200 nautical miles from the baseline, approximately 370 kilometers from the baseline. That you just need to remember. Okay. Here you can see continental shelf of India. It refers to, here we will consider, see, it is a part of sea floor adjoining a land mass where depth gradually increases. Here you can see, with the help of this example we can understand. Here we will just consider the depth. Okay, from the baseline, here you can see the baseline is there. Okay, on the other hand, when it comes to Indian territorial water, from the baseline 12 nautical miles we will consider. If we are considering exclusive economic zones, 200 nautical miles from the baseline. When it comes to continental shelf, again it will be extended to 200 nautical miles from the baseline. When it comes to Indian customs water, next definition we have, that will be extended to 24 nautical miles. Okay, 24 nautical miles from the baseline. Okay, here otherwise baseline will be referred as dada. Okay, where small, or that means where the water point will start. Okay, that we will calling it as a baseline or the coastal area. That's what I have explained as of now. This Indian customs water has been extended up to a limit of 24 nautical miles from the baseline, and it will include any bay, gulf, harbor, creeks, and even tidal rivers. That is for the manufacturing of power and all other things that will be included here, and it will be extended up to 24 nautical miles. When it comes to what do you mean by goods here, in the sense, goods has been defined under section 2 subsection 22. Goods includes any vessels or even aircrafts and even vehicles, stores, that is what we will use up in our day-to-day life, and even for the industries, either maybe capital or even required raw material from other countries, baggage, personal belongings, currency, and also negotiable instruments, and any other kind of movable property. That means one place to another place, which can be moved from one place to another place in an easier manner. All those things will refer it as goods. Those and all will comes under the definition of goods as according to Customs Act 1962, Section 2, subsection 22. When it comes to the dutiable goods, see here, dutiable, the word itself gives you the meaning. What exactly mean by that, in the sense, any kind of goods which are comes under the Customs Act, on which the duty will be charged or the taxes will be charged, on which the taxes will be levied. For those goods we will calling it as dutiable goods. Here you can see dutiable goods which are chargeable to duty, that is which are considered for calculating the tax liability. Okay, and which duty has not been paid, and that means if has to be paid in the future, not it has been paid. Okay. When it comes to coastal goods, section 2 section 7 7 will define coastal goods. What exactly mean by this, in the sense, the term coastal goods means goods other than the imported goods. Here we will not import the goods from other countries, rather what we will do, we will transport this from one port to another. Let us consider one example. We have imported certain goods from Japan. Okay, if we want to transport these goods from one port to another port, let us consider if we are importing the goods from Japan in China harbor, in the sense, Chennai harbor, in the sense, from Chennai harbor, if we are transporting that to Kolkata, or Kolkata. Okay, that we will calling it as those kind of goods. We will calling it as coastal goods. Here we will not import the goods, rather we will transport that from one port to another. Okay. Next we have prohibited goods. It means any goods that import or export of which is prohibited under this act. That is, as according to Custom Act 1962, it will be prohibited. That is, there is a restriction on importing and also exporting of goods to other countries also. Next we have baggage. Baggage means all dutiable articles imported by a passenger or a member of crew in baggage. It doesn't include motor vehicle, alcoholic drinks and goods imported through courier. Okay, these and all the things will be excluded. See, let us consider Mr. A is a person who has went for other country either for business trip or excursion or any other purpose. If he is getting certain articles, if he is buying certain articles from other country and if he is bringing that to our country, there the concept of custom duty is applicable. Based on those articles also, duty is levied on those articles also. Whatever the articles they will get, that we will calling it as baggage. Okay, in the other sense we will calling it as personal belongings. Next definition we have entry, section 2 subsection 60. Entry in relation to goods means an entry made in a bill of entry, shipping bill or a bill of export and includes in the case of goods imported or to be exported by post the entry referred in section 82 or the entry made under regulation made under section 84. That means entry here refers to what in the sense, see, if we are importing the goods, if we are importing the goods, goods will come from other country to our country. Okay, that entry which has been indicated in that bill, we will calling it as an entry. On the other hand, if we are exporting goods to other country from one particular place, let us consider from Mumbai we are exporting goods to any USA, one particular city in the sense, that we will calling it as entry. Okay, very important thing, this has been specified under section 2 subsection 16. Next, bill of entry. See, we know what do you mean by bill. It is a documentary evidence which every importer has to submit under section 46. Okay, bill of entry should be submitted in quadruplicate. Quadruplicate. That means 4 copies should be there. That means one copy should be with the importer. Okay, one copy with the custom authority, another one copy with the bank, another one copy they just need to provide it for the custom authority. Okay, on the other hand, even in the fort also they just need to submit this copy. Next we have customs area. Section 2 subsection 11 will defines customs area. Means area of customs station and includes any area in which import goods or export goods are originally kept before clearance by customs authorities. You can see, if you are going for Chennai or Mumbai or even some other coastal area places, there customs areas will be there. It is a place where the goods and other particulars has been kept before exporting goods to other countries and before getting those countries to our country. That area we will calling it as custom area. Next, custom port, that is, it is generally a place where goods exchanged from one coastal to another. That is, from one place to another place. If we want to exchange, well, there will be a particular place. That place we will calling it as custom port. Next, customs station. It means customs port, customs airport, or land customs station. See here we have 3 modes of transportation we will use of in terms of this. One is air, another one is water, another one is road. Okay. In the context of that, say if we are importing the goods or if we are exporting the goods with the help of road transportation, land customs station will come into picture, and if you are exporting and importing the goods with the help of air transportation, customs airport will come into picture and customs port will come into picture when goods has been imported and exported with the help of water transport. When it comes to the types of custom duty, you can see first one we have basic custom duty. Basic. It means that it is levied on all the imports. It is applicable to all the duties. Okay, and all the goods or even the services which has been imported from other country. And here it will vary from time to time and from country to country. Here you can see as China was fighting in a border with our Indian soldiers. There our economist has suggested our country that we'll fight economically with China. How we can fight economically with China in the sense as we have added China as most favored nation. Okay, it means that when we are adding a particular country as most favored nation, we cannot charge high taxes based on importing of goods from those countries. That is one of the disadvantage which our country is having. Okay, if we just remove that, if we are removing China from most favored nation, we can charge high import taxes. Okay, by that, very important thing, our importers will reduce its imports from other countries. By that, domestic people will get benefited, domestic business sector will get benefited, economic development will be there, GDP growth will also be there. In terms of if the custom duty has been increased based on this. And in this basic custom duty, as like already I have said, if it is for most import has been and even export has been to most favored nation, it will be less. If it is for other countries, usually it will vary. General rate which is applicable based on this is 10%. Okay. Basic custom duty, it is levied on all the imports in our country and it will vary from time to time and also from one country to another country. We will charge less for the most favored nation. We have certain list. You can browse that in the Google. General rate of basic custom duty is 10%. Next, national calamity and contingent duty. This is additional duty based on the other duties. Okay, here it will be imposed on specific certain things. It will be imposed on pan masala, chewing tobacco and cigarettes if we are importing from other countries, and particularly this duty has been levied for having the national interest, which is giving benefit for each and every individual of our country, and 1% on motor cars, multi-utility vehicles and two-wheelers if you are importing from other countries, and rupees 50 per ton on domestic crude oil. Next, road and infrastructures, that is additional to this other basic custom duty and national calamity and contingent duty, we will levy this on rupees 8 per liter on motor spirit and high speed oil which we are importing from other countries. Next we have anti-dumping duty. I have said you the meaning in the introduction part, that is dumping. What do you mean by dumping? In the sense charging high prices in the domestic and charging low prices in the international level. If you are charging high prices in the domestic level and if you are charging low prices in the international level, definitely domestic business sectors will suffer a lot. If those kind of things has been practicing, if in that case if you are importing those kind of articles or the goods from other country, definitely this will be levied though based on those goods only. Okay, anti-dumping duty imposed when foreign goods enter into India in order to cripple the domestic market. That is, if it is creating damage for the domestic market, definitely this anti-dumping duty will be levied under section 9A. Okay. Next we have social welfare surcharge, which has been added recently in the previous year, which came into force from 2 to 2018. See, it is levied on BCD. It is levied on BCD. You just need to keep in your mind. It is very important thing. 10% of BCD will be considered as social welfare charge. It is a replacement of education and health cess, which used to levy in the olden days. Okay. Next we have protective duty. It is imposed to protect the interest of Indian industry, that is domestic people who are manufacturing those kind of goods in our country. See, specifically, if you are giving permission to import all the goods from other countries, people will import those goods where the prices has been low. If in the international market, if the prices has been low, definitely people will import those kind of goods to our country. What about the Indian manufacturers? They will suffer a lot because there will not be any demand for those kind of products. So to tackle with these issues, protective duty has been levied along with the other duties. Next we have integrated tax. See, very important thing. What do you mean by this integrated tax? In the sense, see, in GST, you have familiar that even import has been considered it as an interstate supply. Correct? No, interstate supply. That means we are getting the goods from other state. Likewise, we will levy the taxes under IGST, Integrated Goods and Services Tax. Likewise, along with all other duties, even IGST is also taxed under Custom Act. That is also one of the type of this custom duty. Last one we have GST compensation cess. Compensation cess, that is a very important thing here. Under section 8 of GST Cess Act 2017, these things will be levied on the luxurious products, SUV vehicles, which has been imported from other countries. Along with the integrated tax, additional some more tax has been levied on the luxurious goods or the products which we are importing from other countries to India. Okay, these are all the types of the custom duty. A quick revision we can just do. Basic custom duty, it will levied on all the imports. Okay, the tax rate, basic custom duty tax rate is 10%. It will be varying from one country to another country. As if it is if the import and export has been done with the most favored nation, it will be less. If it is between it is not there in the most favored nation, in the sense it will be more. Next we have national calamity and contingent duty based on different products. If we are importing, it will be levied for national interest. Road and infrastructure, particularly on motor spirit and high speed diesel. Anti-dumping duty, when dumping has been imposed to protect the domestic manufacturers or domestic business people, this has been levied on the imports to increase the import duties. If imports duty has been reduced, definitely imports will get reduces. If imports has been reduced, in the sense there will be a creation of demand for the domestic products. If demand is there for the domestic product, definitely those business will have favorable impact. Next, social welfare surcharge. Recently it has been included. It is charged 10% of basic custom duty. It is a replacement of what education and health cess. Okay, keep in your mind, it will be charged on BCD only. 10% is the rate. Protective duty, it is charged to protect the interest of the Indian industries who are manufacturing goods in our country. Integrated tax, as like in the GST, if we are supplying the goods to other states, IGST is applicable. Likewise, imports we are considering it as interstate supply, where along with all other duties, this IGST is also applicable. When next last one we have GST compensation says, when we are importing the certain kinds of articles or the goods which are luxurious in nature, along with the IGST, additional cess we used to charge on the imports, that we will calling it as GST compensation cess. Okay, thank you.